Today on the podcast, we are going to be talking about secure attachment. I know I had spoken about this in another video, but this time we're going to focus more on the aspect of manifestation and having a secure attachment to God or the universe or whatever you believe in. So, yeah, hopefully you're interested in those topics because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Um, okay, so I'll give you a little bit of background, my personal story. So, I'm an empath. I was conditioned as a young child to be an empath just because of my environment. If you know my story, you probably know this. Also, if you've watched other videos on the channel, I spoke about this before as well. So I won't go too much into it. I'll just briefly brush over it so we can get to the meat and potatoes of the actual video. So yeah, basically I was conditioned to be hyper aware of my environment just because it was hostile. So it was a defense mechanism, but also a survival tactic. And I uh, took this with me throughout the rest of my life, even until now. It's kind of become a superpower, I guess you could say, where I'm able to go into environments and read energy. Even before I get into the environment, I'm picking up on energy because I have a relationship with Mother Earth and Father Sky, also with God and my ancestors. So, um, also in my book, I'm writing, it's kind of an autobiography. It goes over my life story, some major events that shifted my mindset. So be on the lookout for that. I'm still working on it right now. So I'm not too sure when it will be released, but I also have other books. If you're interested, you can message me about that. But yeah, so that's basically it. Um, Empath, conditioning, and just being overall intuitive with energy and environments and people. So I'm talking about this because if you haven't experienced a secure attachment style, which means you feel safe to open up, um, and you also hold space for the other person for them to open up and express themselves as well. So if you haven't had that type of relationship, it is very uh, important that you do. I mean, the only secure attachment relationship you could have is with God. Um, I had a few relationships growing up that I felt really safe talking to these people and being around. I was fortunate enough to have these people in my life who ended up kind of being elders, where they were elders because this is when I was younger. And I've been lucky throughout my life to have people come into my reality um, when I needed them to. So part of my culture is just believing in different gods for different elements. So let's see, the goddess of fire would be Pele. So I'm Hawaiian, but I'm also Native American. Uh, the god of the ocean is Lono. We also have the god of war, which is Ku, and then we have different gods. But the main overall god, the creator, is Keaku. That is the overall god. So growing up, this is a part of my culture, so it was um, kind of just taught to me, and my grandma being 100% Hawaiian, she was very into our culture and she practiced la'au lapa'au, which is Hawaiian plant medicine, a form of medicine. So she tried to pass down a lot of the information that she could um, while I was interested. There were times where I wasn't interested, but while I was, she tried to guide me, in our ways. So I always had a connection to Mother Earth and Father Sky as well, just being Native American and also a lot of my different ethnicities. We are very close to the land, and we understand the relationship of taking care of the land, so the land will take care of us. So in that sense, there was always a give and take with the land, and with that also came Keakua, the creator. Um, in my book, I talk about Jesus. My grandma was also a Mormon. She had chosen that faith. Uh, I speak about an experience I had with the church. I'm not religious. Like I said, I go more along the lines of my cultural practices, which would be the Hawaiian gods and the Native American perspective. So I have other ethnicities um, that is in my blood, my DNA, that I take and add to my perspective. But those are the uh, main sources that create the rose-colored glasses that I look through and see the world. So in that sense, I always had a secure, um, I would say secure knowledge. In the beginning, it was a secure knowledge, and then when I started just trusting myself and also the gods more, talking to them, creating a relationship, giving them offerings. That's part of my culture as well. It was just kind of just natural that it fell into place, that it became a secure relationship just because I would talk to them and I would see different signs. Maybe, like I said, people would come into my reality at the right time just when I needed it, or I would see an animal. Um, we have Almakul in Hawaiian, which is our spirit animal, our guardian animals, ancestors. So yeah, I would see animals and they would kind of speak to me, not necessarily like in movies where they're speaking English, but I have a connection to them because I'm so sensitive to energy. So, like I said, I would ask for certain things or ask for signs, and I would get them. So that created the secure relationship with the gods and my ancestors. Um, and that helped me a lot throughout my journey, especially as a child. Um, so also in the book, as a young child, I was able to see spirits. So that was very challenging because not everyone obviously can see spirits. So being that my grandma um, would practice La'au Lapa'au and she's very into our culture, Hawaiian culture, it helped a lot. It gave me solace to be able to talk to somebody who understood because she had experiences of her own. And just a part of our culture, we believe in spirits. So it wasn't too out of the norm, but to be able to see spirits, that is very unique. Not everybody can do that. So that had its own challenges and barriers as well. But yeah, so how do you create that relationship if you don't already have that? So I always suggest looking at your ancestry, your DNA. Start there. Like, what are you? So I'm Native American, Native Hawaiian, Japanese. Like start with your culture. Look into your genealogy and go back to your cultural roots. Start there because in one of my books, Alien Dad, Human Dad, I talk about DNA expression, which is my own term that I came up with for just the way that your DNA expresses itself. So, in terms of identity, just because that's what's in your blood, that is your DNA. It's passed down from your ancestors to you. So, um, being respectful to your own culture, even though nowadays things are a lot different. We're not as connected to the earth and the land as we once were. Things have changed a lot, so it might be looked at as magic or alien, as I call it in the book. It's just um, not the normal, depending on who you are and where you are in the world, and also your current environment, it can be looked at as, like I said, magic. So for me, it's pretty easy. Uh, I'm secure in myself. Um, I think that has a lot to do with my grandma because she was teaching me from a young age, and then the rest of my family is pretty secure in our culture as well too. So it was kind of bred into me. Um, and I'm also very hard head when it comes to changing my mind on things. It has to be concrete evidence. I know that kind of seems a little out of place coming from a spiritual aspect, but like I said, I have a secure attachment where I have concrete evidence of the gods talking to me and my ancestors guiding me and being there. So that's a very personal experience. So, like I said, I would start with your genealogy and start with your culture. I know now um, people have adopted different viewpoints, especially in terms of cultural, like so cultural appropriation. That's where you take someone else's culture and you use it to make money. Um, but yeah, I would start there, and then uh, it should kind of give you a roadmap of what to do. Really, for me, I mean, it was just I felt fulfilled. Like I just felt connected to my ancestors and the blood that's running through me. Uh, Kind of just energized me. And because I think about energy as always being passed from the earth and the sky to me, and even just animals, everything, uh, I feel just more in sync with um, the universe. So yeah, I would start there, and it might be a little bit of a battle uh, you have with yourself. Um, you might have to stretch your mind a little bit to understand your ancestors. It was a different time, like I said, so um, the challenges they had are very different than the challenges we have today. Uh, and also know that just the food we eat is also very different, you know. As time goes on, pollution, like global warming, has affected a lot of things. So just be aware of those types of situations as well. But tying this all together with manifestation, manifestation deals with faith. If you watch the movie The Secret, that's one of the things is having unwavering faith, which I like The Secret. I think the law of attraction works, but to me, it's more of a coming from a place of authenticity. That's why I say to look into your genealogy because uh, the research that I've done and also the other ethnicities I have, a lot of the cultures are very similar. They believe a lot of the same things. It might just be called a different name. So, like in Hawaiian, energy is mana, but in Japanese, it's ki, ki, and then in Chinese, it's chi, chi. So, just that is evidence for me. You know, just a lot of cultures believe in the same things. It's just different names that they give it, but it's all when you break it down to the basics, it's basically all just the same thing. Um, yeah, and then also going back to the cultural roots, where your people are from. There's different elements there. So I'm originally from Hawaii, and that is islands, volcanoes in the middle of the ocean. So that is a very different environment, a different uh, geological makeup than if you were from Oregon or Pennsylvania or even just anywhere in the world like Japan or China or Russia. So um, if you do believe in energy, which probably you're watching this, you probably do, in those particular places, they have energetic hotspots. So, like crystals, they come from the earth. I know now there's a lot of fake crystals around, so just be careful of what you buy. Make sure it's authentic. But these crystals hold vibration. Like in Hawaiian, we would say mana. So everything holds mana because everything comes from the element in one way or another. That's how creation is. It You bring the elements together and you create something new. But they're all from the basic elements. So basically, everything we have now is still can be broken down into elements. Um, yeah. So the geological map of where you are has a specific frequency of vibration. So just be aware of that as well too, because it might be conflicting with your birth chart. So look it up. I offer birth chart readings. If you're interested, just message me on here or go to my website. There's links to talk about that. But yeah, so geologically, it could be interrupting the alignment with the planets of your birth chart, depending on your personal goals and what you're trying to do. Also, the transits as well. So, like Jupiter's return and Saturn return, things like that could be affecting your life currently at this time. But um, because the earth holds different vibrations at different places, you need to be aware of that if you're trying to manifest. Um, because, like I said, it could be creating conflicts. So you might not get the manifestation. But going back to authenticity, it's best to be authentic to your DNA, you know what I mean, your culture. It is okay, at least I think it's okay, it's my personal opinion, to blend cultures together because unlike my grandma who was 100% Hawaiian, I'm not 100%. I'm a mix of different ethnicities. So I blend these ethnicities together and I create my own mindset, you know? So I would suggest you doing that too. It's worked for me. Um, but yeah, authenticity is the highest vibration next to love. So in terms of manifestation, there is no better way to manifest than being in that vibration, but also being clear on what you want. It's not necessarily a materialistic thing, although you might think like, okay, I want this house or I want this car, but there's an underlying issue there where that's not really what you want. Like, let's say you want the house, but you want the house because it gives you freedom or it gives you space. So there's something there that is more of like an underlying issue that you might have to look at some childhood wounds or do some shadow work to get to the lower depths of what you really want, because the physical thing is normally a illusion to what is actually going on, like underneath on the spiritual realm. So depending where you are on your journey, you might have to uh, do some more shadow work to fully understand what you truly want. And then when you understand, break it down like that, so you want freedom, it opens the door uh, to the manifestation. It's not so black and white in terms of you want this specific car. It's okay to specify exactly like, okay, you want this car, but just know that the underlying uh, the goal would be uh, for that, it could be a sense of accomplishment, just going after something and getting it. So like fulfillment, you want to feel fulfilled. Those are the actual feelings that you're going for. So when you go towards the manifestation, you might not get what you actually want, but when you look at it from a spiritual standpoint of you wanted fulfillment, most likely you will get fulfillment if you are going towards what you want and you are authentic in the intention and uh, the actions you take. I find that for the most part, I get what I want. I mean, there had been things where it was very specific in terms of material, and I did get those things. But like I said, there was an underlying issue of I wanted something else. And then when I fully realized that, my mindset shifted into more of a bird's eye view. So more of like a spiritual enlightenment of not looking at the illusion of the materialistic thing, but more on the spiritual level of freedom, love, accomplishment, those types of desires that everyone wants, but might not fully understand how that works. So, yeah, that's pretty much manifestation, how it relates to the secure attachment of God, like remaining faithful. So, I don't really like to test the gods just because I don't know. I just don't really like to test them. Like, oh, if there really are gods, then this I want this to happen. Like, I don't really do that. I normally go more of the sense of, is this what I'm supposed to do? And then if it is, then have this happen. Most of the time, that will happen. Like whatever I ask, it'll come. But even then, I still feel kind of off about doing that because I feel like where I'm at on my spiritual journey, I should already know. Like I've been through a lot throughout my life. Like I said, my book is coming out, so you'll hear some of the stories. But I've learned to trust myself. Uh, and yeah, so that's another thing too. It's having a secure attachment with yourself, not only just with God. I mean, you are God, but having a secure attachment with yourself to maybe just be alone. You know what I mean? To go after what you want, even if that means you're the only one who is kind of supporting you. Like you don't have cheerleaders who are uplifting you and keeping you on track. It's more of like a inner desire, inner pull that is making you do these things. That's kind of what I found for me is a lot of these, especially now, these desires are more of a, I want to say like a soul calling because I'm so attached to God, my ancestors, and everything. I feel like this is more of a soul purpose that I'm fulfilling. A lot of the things I've done in my life have always been to set an example, especially since I have kids, or I know a lot of younger people look up to me, even like my friends or um, other younger people, even some older people. They look up to me. You know, they see my progress or they see the potential I have. So, of course, they want what's best for me, or what they think is what's best for me. You know, everyone has a different idea of success and what that looks like to everyone. But when you are following God, yourself, and you are secure in yourself, um, there's no better feeling than self fulfillment. Uh, you know, just being fully authentic with yourself and even just love. You know, everyone wants to have a soulmate, they want to have a partner, but to get that, I feel like you have to love yourself first. So that's part of manifestation, and that's part of the process is learning who you are on, like I said, a genealogy level, and working your way through that, doing the shadow work, and just presenting yourself to the world in an authentic manner. The right people will come to you. I know that might be hard to believe, like that involves a lot of faith and trust in yourself, but I've always looked at it as that's a lot better than having regret. Um, Regretting that you could have done something and you didn't. Uh, Nobody likes that feeling. That's a very um, low vibrational feeling. So yeah, I hope you got some gems from this particular video. That's pretty much all I have about manifestation and secure attachment. It's kind of something that you have to kind of experience for yourself. Like, of course, you always hear stories of others. In the movie The Secret, there's a lady who had cancer, and she healed cancer through her faith. And then you always hear other miracles, I guess you would say, and that's when people really start believing. So um, it's kind of hard because it's you have to believe and then it'll manifest. You have to see it. So it's a process. The more you do it, the better you get, and you'll get more results. So I would say maybe start small, but just be completely honest and authentic with yourself, and you won't go wrong. Even if that means being isolated from others, you might face rejection or whatever, but just be completely yourself, and you can't go wrong. So yeah, be on the lookout for other videos. Um, Share this video. I'm trying to get more people interested in the topics, grow the channel. My website is on, I think, my Facebook. So that information should be in the description box. Check that out. Like I said, I have the books if you're interested. I also offer other services. So just let me know, message me, and be on the lookout for other content.